Hello! So this is the fourth video in our series of making a piano mover game. And here's where we are so far. We've got a bunch of sprites in the screen. Pianos are thrown from the building and we slowly bounce them into the moving van. So I would like to have some kind of score that goes up as I successfully get these pianos into the moving van. Let's see if I can get that to work. So to do so, I am going to try to add a user interface element, UI. I'm going to add Text Mesh Pro. Now, the first time you add this to your project, it will ask you to import Text Mesh Pro things. I've already done this because I was demoing it and testing if it worked. And so that button, you just press the first one, not the second one, that asks you to add a bunch more information. Okay, so I have our text here, and also put it inside a canvas and then added an event system. Now these are just automatically added when you add a UI element. These are extra pieces that are going on in the background to keep track of where is this on the screen, what is going on, how are things running. Because if you try to find this text element, it's way out here. And the canvas itself is way out here. So this text will show up in the lower left corner of the canvas. I want to be moving that. Let's put it in the upper right corner. And notice when we go back to our main camera, we're just sitting down here. It's just, even though it overlaps a little bit, it's just a different space that it gives us here in Unity. But when I play and run the game, and you're going to see my text up here in the upper right hand corner. Okay. What do I want this to say? I could change it right over here in the text spot. I could say score, something like that. But I want it to be happening dynamically. And if I have something that's sort of a global, everybody needs to be talking about this, it's time for us to make a game manager. So I'm going to create an empty object called the game manager. It's just empty, there's nothing in it. It doesn't show up anywhere in our game, but it's just here, and you can have scripts on it. So let's make a game manager script. C# script called game manager. You're in charge. Drag it onto the game manager object, otherwise it won't get called. And now we can open it up and start doing things inside it. Now I want this game manager to always be around and available. And I want everyone else to have super easy access to it. It's going to act like a global object living around here. So there's a few things I'm going to do. I'm going to make a public static game manager. Let's call it instance. And I'm going to give this instance a couple properties. Anybody can get it, but it's only privately settable. Okay, so when we start off, and actually we want a new method that's even earlier than start, we want to say awake. When the object wakes up, we need to do a few things. Let's make that happen. So if this instance up here is null, if no one has created it before, I want instance to be equal to myself. And I want this to persist. So I'm going to say don't destroy on load my game object. Keep me around. Keep the object that I'm attached to around. So not just the script, but that empty game object. Don't let things get destroyed on that. If I'm going to make this global and persist across scenes and have memory of what's going on, this is where I want to be having it. And so else, say, wait a second, there is already an instance and somehow I woke up another game manager. I need to get rid of myself. There should only be one game manager happening at the time, so get rid of my game object, which destroys me. Okay. So next thing we want to do, let's give this a little bit more pieces here. I'm going to make a private int score. and a public text mesh pro UGUI. Let's call it my score text. Now, because we had to import things for Text Mesh Pro, it doesn't normally come with what we're doing. We have to say using TM Pro. Up here at the top. Now we're able to go find our Text Mesh Pro GUI, the thing that belongs to the canvas. Okay, back in our code here. Reloading everything. Let's go look at our game manager. Here's our script, score text. How do I know which one I'm talking to? I have to pick it up and drag it over there so that the wiring happens in my code. Okay, to show you that that works, just down here in start, I'm going to say score text dot text equals hello. Something simple to know that the programming I'm doing here in the script is actually working in the game. I always want to set up these little test circumstances, sanity checks for myself. Okay, I see the word hello. So my script was properly attached and I am able to now talk to that score text up there. Okay, let's make it so somebody can actually change that score text based on the score. So let's get rid of this line here. That was for testing purposes. What I want to do here instead is make a public method, increment the score, and what is my DS, what is my delta score, so that my score can plus equals that delta score, and set the score text like I just did. Plus the score. Great. So when someone increments the score, it should start changing that number inside that I have, and then using that number to go update the text. Let's see what we can do here. When we run it, we should see score colon nothing, because that's how it starts off. Okay, now I need to actually make something give me a score. Okay, next things we want to talk about are collisions. We've seen collisions before. We've seen the piano, we've seen the net have this collider on it, and that makes collisions happen. Now, right now, we're not doing anything with them in code. We are just saying physics collisions exist and colliders handle them and make things bounce like they're supposed to. But we can pop that open with a script. So I'm going to pop that open with a script on our van. Let's make a script called like caught piano. So my caught piano script, I drag it up there and put it on the van. Second thing I want to do is add a component to the van, which is going to be a box collider. And one thing to notice, my PNG is a little bigger than my actual moving van. So I have to do some adjustments here and try to shrink my box collider to be at the place where the van is. Let's try 14 there. Okay, so my box collider is pretty well wrapped around there. That's going to be what I want to see. In my caught piano, which is attached to the van, let's add a new function down here. Void on collision enter 2D. It has a parameter that we're going to be able to look at, the collision 2D collision. So something has collided and I can go figure out what collided with me. There's lots of things I can do with collision. Let's go down here and look at some of them. Collision dot. I can figure out how many contacts there are collider? Who's the thing I contacted? What's the game object for it? What's the other collider? What else is the other rigid body? All these different things. I can go ask about that collision that happened. Well, the thing I want to do is say, hey, let's go find your game object, and we're going to destroy it. When something collides with me, I want to destroy it. And destroy, we are tempted, and we'll probably make the mistake many times of saying, well, let's destroy collision. And it used to be able to do that, but then now it sort of checks you and says destroy is supposed to be destroying objects, not specific things. And so collision dot game object. Now sometimes you're tempted to say destroy this. And you can do that, but that will just destroy the script and not the game object the script is attached to. If in your code you ever say destroy this, then back here you are destroying the script, but not the whole thing. So we want to say destroy collision dot game object. Now that will make the thing that collided with me disappear. And let's put a debug message in here. Debug.log colliding with something, just to help me know when things are working. And if I can get the collision to work and it destroys, then I'll go talk to my game manager. First things first. Let's put this piano in the moving van. Oh, it disappeared in the console. I saw the words collided with something. Now where did my people go? Where did my people go? Aha! Let's see what happens when I run my people into the van. They're still there. Good. Okay. So, I got that to work. Let's see if I can get some other pieces to work. And I'll come back to those in the next video.